All right, Shalom, Israel.
Shalom.
All right, we want to start by giving all glory and praises to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahushai, Ba'Hashem, Chakadash. I read the brothers from down in Tempe, Florida, from the camp of GMS Tampa. All right, come with another Lord, want to edify and lesson to feed the sheep. The bonus said that was an apostle, great millstone, will teach you well. Peace and blessings to the brothers who pushing this work, and true sincerity to the scattered abroad. All right, with the brother, the priest,
Malak.
All right, now brother, I'm one. All right, again. You know, we the brothers down in Tampa, Florida, all right, for the camp of GMS Tampa, man. And, you know, just seeing this post, all right, with Jake, all right, you know, going into how he pretty much cold-blooded, he killed his co-worker, man, all right, over some nonsense, over tools, all right, which shows you the spirit that's on these people are, you know, lacking patience, man, okay? They're getting aggressive, all right? They're crashing out. All right, the crash out moments have only increased in the times of this war that's been going on with Iran and America, man. Okay, with things turning out, these people have been on edge for every last little thing. The fact that they can't pay their rent, the fact that they're losing all of their funds, the American benefits, all right, and assistance. All right, people not able to get enough hours, they're getting overtime. People just, you know, struggling with bringing in groceries to take care of their kids. You know, Jake around here, man, they pumping them and popping them out, man. So you got households full of 5 to 6 to 7 kids that's not even eating. All right, people just in a very great distress time right now. Okay, which you was warned through the Lord's man. Okay, his prophets. Okay, starting with our elders and apostles, great millstone and down, but now they're starting to feel the harsh effect, and there's no going back, man. Okay, and people are retaliating with aggression, and that's what we're seeing right here. All right, you can read that the article, or actually, yeah, you can just read this, and then we'll get the article in a little bit.
This is the article from Local 12 on Facebook, and it says, an Hvac worker was taken into custody after he allegedly shot and killed his co-worker following an argument over tools near a customer's home.
And niggas got into it over tools, man. You know, got into it over tools. And this is how you know how bad it is when people can barely get an agreement with each other to share or even, you know, work things out to the point where, you know, you got niggas just saying, fuck it. Why you on a job with a gun, man? You know? God. Me and a few brothers, man, we work in that, you know, that field, man. Okay, so we know what it's like. But you ain't supposed to have a gun on you, walk around with a gun on you, especially at the job that you're supposed to be here. You got a customer's house, man. This is the way you're supposed to conduct yourself and carry yourself, man. Okay, when you on the job. And you can't be out there strapped up on a damn job, man. But that's niggas for you. Okay, that's Jake. Go ahead.
It says, when speaking to police, the suspect reportedly stated that the victim had punched him in the face during the argument and wrapped an arm around his neck. He then allegedly said he shot the victim after the victim followed him to the work truck and threatened him.
Exactly. So you got it where these people are just on edge. Okay? They can't work together. That's why you're seeing co-workers at the job fighting. That's why you're seeing women fighting over a man. You know, there's the man at the job. They both fighting each other, pulling each other here. You got people who just walking into random stores and killing a random person, okay, because they just had a bad day at work. All right, work ain't the same for these people when they go home and they get off and they go to work and the same routine, man, and it ain't the same no more. People are dealing with actual distress in their lives, so nobody's going to take the bullshit anymore from anybody, man. You see. And really, it's just the spirit that's you know, going into that, hey, the love of many is waxing cold, man. Okay. You got it? Go ahead, bro.
This is the book of Matthew 24:12. And because
And I believe this took place in Tennessee. Correct? Yeah, Tennessee, man. So and this is just taking place around the world. And you starting to see a lot more people just. He probably been working with that guy for a while and just he just had it. You know, spirit just hopped on to just blow his ass down. The demon hopped on him, man. We gonna see these people really start to just say fuck it, man. All right, that's the time that we in. We're seeing these people just a random person could be driving on the road and they have a road rage and get out of the car and just start blaming an individual down. That happened down here. These people are on edge. Okay, you go ahead, Art. You can break it back.
It says Matthew 24:12, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold.
So because of the love of because the iniquity shall abound, things get worse. All right, sin upon sin is just growing and growing. Wickedness is just continuously prevailing. You know, people are having a hard time, having a reset. That we get back to back to back to back. They're working and working and working and working, and they're not seeing none of their shalakia, but just a little bit of technical difficulties. But yeah, they're not seeing none of their life's, pretty much work paying off, man. Okay, they're not seeing that work that they've been putting in pay off. So what? That's gonna lead people to snap, even more, because everything that they're working hard for, they're seeing it just fly by their eyes, man, because they ain't got the time to enjoy it. You see, all this place has just been putting this state of these people in to great distress. All right, and mourning, as the scripture says, when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn, roughly paraphrasing. All right, so we're seeing that in these people, man, especially Jake. Because Jake already at the damn bottom. Niggas is done turn around and start fighting each other because they already having to tough out the house, dealing with the so-called nigger woman, man. Okay, so-called black woman. Or I should say, the nigger woman, man. Eve. So, hey, you're going to see a lot more of this take place. We're in these times where these evil spirits are going to hop on individuals and they're going to start to blame, or they're going to start to just, take action in their own hands and start killing one another, man. Those are the times we are really in right now. All right? Bring that back one more time.
And if I could add, Esau's system is tiring these people out. They spirit, they draining their spirit out. That's why these people, they getting tired across the globe, bro. It's not just in your city, it's across the globe. Because you walk into the store, you could see somebody's spirit, maybe you could tell they just going through it. All right, and that's not only happening to Jake, it's happening to Edomites. Because this Edomite I work with, or she's a client at my job, she tells me how her job is soul draining and that she wants to quit her job to start her own business. And it's an Edomite, bro.
Yep.
So if this going on with Edomites and it's their kingdom, bro, how much more Jake and how much more the other everybody, bro? These people, they getting pushed to their last. All right,
push it to the limit.
They getting pushed to their limit, bro. Okay, and they just about to start crashing out. All right, and it's ultimately the work of the Lord, because it's prophecy, bro. How people they ain't gonna have nothing to lose, so they just gonna lose it, bro. They just gonna, you feel me? Them demons just gonna be so they're going to be so receptive to demons, bro. All right, but this is back in the book of Matthew 24:12. In the NLT this time, it says, sin will be rampant everywhere, and the love of many will grow cold. All right, and that's what we're seeing. The love of many growing cold, because sin is everywhere, bro. All right, everywhere you look in this kingdom, all right, it's sin. Okay, why? Because the earth has been given to the hand of the wicked. So that's how he's ruling this so-called kingdom. He's ruling it in wickedness, bro. All right, and sin is wickedness. That's why you see sin everywhere being glorified. Okay, but the righteous, okay, the pure is demonized in this society, bro. Okay? The pure things, okay, that revolve around, first and foremost, Yahweh Shem Shai is demonized in this society. That's why this place got to go. And the Lord got to destroy this place to make his name known once more. And to give his name respect that it deserves and needs, bro. All right? But it says, sin will be rampant everywhere, and the love of many will grow cold. We see that happening, bro.
Yep.
We see that happening. We see the Lord rousing up these evil demonic spirits. Okay, even though the angels on the left-hand side, we're going to get that, bro. All right, this is Sirach 39 and 28. It says, there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. So these spirits are doing the will of Yahweh Shem Shai, bro. Alright, that's the point. That, this nigga, he crashed out and shot his coworker, but the Lord made him crash out. The Lord wanted him to crash out and to execute judgment. Okay? That's the point, bro. The Lord is in control of both the left hand and the right hand, bro. The Lord has left hand angels, aka demons, and right hand angels, bro.
Yeah, actually, you can grab that for clarification to the spirit, man. I believe that's Isaiah 45 or 5 and 45, or 45 and 5. You can go check that right quick, or 55 and 6, one of them. Okay, because again, we know that the Lord is in control of these things. That's right. Okay. Yep. Matter of fact, you can bring it up.
Starting from verse 5, Isaiah 45 and verse 5, it says, I am the Lord Yahweh, and there is none else. There is no power beside me. I girded thee, though thou hast not known me, that they may know from the rising of the sun and from the west that there is none beside me. I am the Lord, and there is none else. And that's what the Lord is about to make happen, bro. That's the spirit, because he's about to give his name respect again in the land, bro. The Lord is about to make his name known. And he going to use the brothers to do it. He going to use, really everything to do it. But he going to use the elect to glorify his name, all right? He going to use the elect by raising them up with that power to execute his judgment. All right, and the elect, they're going to be praising the names Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. All right, the earth going to be shaking how much the elect going to praise their names in that day, bro. Okay? And that's the time we're coming into, bro. All right, it says, that they may know from the rising of the sun and from the west. All right, so all across the four corners, bro. It says that there is none beside me. Woo. I am the Lord, and there is none else.
See how the Lord, that's a spirit, bro, said, and there's none else. There's none else, man. You see? So this is why the Lord is to be respected, man. Okay? This is why the Lord is to be feared. And there's none else. Okay? How about Shem Shai, man? Okay, and these people are about to find out. Okay, that they gonna know that this is Yahweh Shem Shai. They gonna find out by the way the Lord send forth his judgments, man. Send forth these spirits created for vengeance. And they gonna know that it was brought to their attention through the Lord's men. The ones that been on the four corners of the earth, warning people, telling them that the Lord's gonna turn this thing up like he had once did before, like in the time of Egypt, man.
That's the spirit, bro. I got this right here.
You got it.
All right, and this is the time of when Joshua sent the spies out to spy out the Jericho. All right, this is what the harlot Rahab said to the spies. It says Joshua 2 verse 8 in the NLT. Before the spies went to sleep that night, Rahab went up on the roof to talk with them. I know the Lord has given you this land, she told them. She talking about the land of Jericho, the land she was living in. It says, we are all afraid of you. Everyone in the land is living in terror. For we have heard how the Lord made a dry path for you through the Red Sea when you left Egypt. And we know what you did to Sihon and Og, the two Amorite kings east of the Jordan River, whose people you completely destroyed. Okay, so she said, we heard how the Lord delivered you in the time of Egypt. We know how the Lord is working with y'all. how the Lord is dealing with y'all and protecting y'all and defending y'all. So we fear that. We fear that. Okay? And that's what's missing from this land today, the fear of the Lord. But the Lord is about to make his name known again in the land. All right, he's about to show these people why. One of his titles is Al-Shadia, a terrible demon-like power, man. The Lord about to come through and cast out judgment, bro. All right, to glorify his name. All right. It says, verse 11, no wonder our hearts have melted in fear. And she's living in the town of Jericho, bro. It says, no one has the courage to fight after hearing such things. It says, for the Lord, your power is the supreme God of the heavens above and the earth below. Whoo! So, bro, that fear is about to be through everyone, bro. Okay? Because the Lord is about to make his name known again.
Yep.
The Lord is going to remind these, allow me to reintroduce myself.
That's the spirit. I was just about to say that, bro.
Bro, that's how the Lord coming back, bro. You feel me?
Yeah,
bro, the ultimate Jake.
Yeah, allow me to introduce myself.
Con,
yeah, bro.
Con.
Dang, that's a shit you said that.
Call everybody outside.
Call everybody outside, bro.
But Con, the point being, man, the Lord, it's about to be a great deliverance and a great judgment on this side, bro.
Yeah. That's
But that was Joshua 2. Con, but back to Isaiah chapter 45 and verse 7. It says, well, one more time, verse 6, that they may know from the rising of the sun and from the west that there is none beside me. I am the Lord and there is none else. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil.
Yep.
I, the Lord, do all these things.
And that's what the scriptures say, man. That ain't what we saying. That's what we reading off the scriptures. It said, the Lord what?
Says, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil.
Ooh.
I, the Lord.
I, the what?
I, the Lord, do all these things.
Yahweh Shemel Shai, man. So when you see a damn 1-year-old, 5-year-old, a damn little kid getting judged, man, okay? Know that the Lord's in control of all these things, man. All right? The Lord ain't playing. The Lord gonna take everything. The Lord will take all y'all ass the hell out, man, if you play on his name. Playing with the time, this grace. You know, the Lord, Yahweh Shemel Shai is to be feared. Scripture says it's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. Yahweh Shemel Shai, man. All right, roughly paraphrasing. So we know that the Lord is not playing when he say he's going to send these things as we go into that spirit career for vengeance, man. All right? This is why he's to be feared. You got people who every day catching judgment, getting caught up in a worse way of how he going to take them out. Because what? The Lord is to be feared. And what he say is going to go, man. All right? Go ahead, bro.
It says,
damn elderly lady, she get jacked up. Ain't playing. You don't even know what these individuals that came on this earth and did in their past lives, man. What scriptures go into who've ever perished, being innocent, roughly paraphrasing. Okay. So we know, man, that hey, if something happened, it's because it's for a reason. It was ordained. Okay? You got it, bro.
Just to back up the brother's point, because the Lord, he's not finna spare. If he set out a judgment for you, it ain't no reversing that. And it ain't no running from it, bro. All right? Because the Lord, he got judgment for the old, the young. But it don't matter. He ain't not a respecter of persons, bro.
That's right.
All right? And then we're going to get this real quick through the spirit. It says, I'm going to get Ezekiel 9:4, because the Lord, he bringing out this judgment, but it's a remnant that's going to make it through it. That's why Jeremiah 30:7, but he shall be saved, all right, out of that time of Jacob's trouble. Because it's a remnant that the Lord is going to protect, and he not going to let them get to harm, bro.
Yeah.
All right, this is Ezekiel 9, and that's what Esau feared, man. All right, that's what Esau feared the most. All right, the elect being activated by Yahweh by Shemel Shai. It says Ezekiel 9:4. It says, and the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. And this mark is that mark of exemption, bro. Being exempt from judgment. Okay, it's men here living on this planet that would not be partaking in that judgment. Okay.
Yeah, that Hvac, man.
Yeah. And it's 1/3 out of the nation of Israel will be delivered in this time we're coming into. All right, but 2/3 gonna have to go, bro. All right. It said, but the Lord is still using those 2/3 to execute judgment in the present time, like we just seen with a dude from Tennessee. All right, in the Hvac. Okay. It says, verse 5, and to all the others he said in mine hearing, go ye after him through the city and smite. Let not your eyes spare, neither have ye pity. And this how the Lord coming back, man. Verse 6, and this the point. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women. So it says old and young, little children, women. The Lord don't care who you is, bro. If it's judgment for you, man, the Lord gonna execute it. All right.
That's it.
And whatever your judgment is, bro. Because like we got out in Hvac, all right, those spirits created for vengeance will appease the wrath of him that made him.
Okay. Made them, yep.
But verse 6, one more time, it says, slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children, and women. But come not near any man upon whom is the mark. And begin at my sanctuary. Then they began at the ancient men who were before the house. Okay, and this the time of Egypt, bro. All right, how the Lord set that mark, bro. Okay, and delivered the us from that Egypt by that mark of the blood on the doorpost. All right, that also goes back into how the Lord delivered his men from there when they had that mark upon their doorpost, bro. Okay, now it's a spiritual mark. Okay, the names of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, written within our inward parts, bro. When them death angels coming through the land, they gonna see, oh yeah, that's okay, the Lord preserving him, the Lord preserving him. But everyone else who don't got that mark, bro, the Lord is destroying their ass, bro. Okay, but that's just the point right there, man. The Lord, he's in control of all things, man. You got it, bro.
You can grab that creative Avengers, and we can close it out with that.
Con. One more time, this is the book of Hvac, chapter 39 and 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them.
That's right, bro. So these spirits that was created for vengeance, all right, they got a job. They got a mission that they have to complete. Okay, and that's the spirits. It's just dwelling within. You got demons that's just dwelling within these people to just be activated for the time that we know is Jacob's trouble, all right, for a time that is for when all hell breaks loose, or when it's just this time with that individual is to be used to be in the state of to execute judgment, man. You see, you got animals that come through and tear off a person's whole throat. Okay, eat your whole throat out, man. You look to put spirit created for vengeance on anything, man. You see, and that's a scary thing. You don't want to be in that position, okay? All right, where your ass can have a target on you, man, on your back, okay? And that's why, again, we mentioned, you know, how about Shemel Shah is to be feared. Okay, continue.
Con. It says, verse 29, fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance.
Yep, and they said famine, okay? All right, fire, all right? You got places going up in flames. You got people who are starving, no food, barely having access to food. You got people who are going just through all kinds of conditions of catching hell, man. Right? And we know through the spirit power by Shemel Shah, the Lord said he's going to bring great death and destruction, all right, upon this place, man. All right, proceeding to 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter. There's more on that?
Khan. This is the book of Salak, if I could get this real quick.
Oh, yeah, you
It
got
is more. Just a quick point. Because it said, it says, in that Sirach, it says, fire and hail and famine, okay? But the point being hail, all right? Because the Lord can use the elements in the earth to give out that judgment. And we see that in the book of 2 Samuel chapter 18 and 8, all right, it says the battle raged all across the countryside, and more men died because of the forest than were killed by the sword. Okay, so just showing how the Lord can execute judgment by a tree, by a storm coming down, by hail. Okay, the Lord can put anything, all right, anything he could put in his spirit, because the scriptures say how his incorruptible spirit is in all things, bro. The Lord can use anything to hand out judgment. All right, and there's going to be some crazy judgments going out unexpectedly, bro. Something that's not even in 1,000 Ways to Die.
Yeah. And it's you say that because it kind of remind me of that one movie. It's a Hunger Games. I believe it was the second Hunger Games where they had the whole controlling system thing. They was using trees. They was using like the elements in the air. You know, they was using insect. They was using all kinds of shit, man. You know what I'm saying? And you seen how they was being affected by it. There wasn't no little effect. There was a great effect. Thunder and water, like it just all that, man. So it giving you a visual of how, you know what I'm saying, the Lord can turn anything and everything into something to take your ass out, man, just depending on how he has it set up. You know, that's why you want to be on point with when it comes to, with the Lord, man.
Bro, that's
you want to be pleasing him.
Thing, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that's fearful.
Yep, that's right.
Cause I'm just thinking like the Lord can use an insect, bro.
Yeah.
A fucking millipede or a 1,000 legs just crawling in your ear all through your brain, and you just feel it tormenting your brain, but you still alive.
Yeah.
But the Lord can use anything, bro. Like that's man.
Yeah. Hey, and the spirit, because the heaviness, that's because as we going into this guy who shot his co-worker and he killed him, this could be a spirit that hop on anything, all right, on anybody, to be exact. So hey, that's it. Just that fast. So you could go into work and thinking everything good and get into an altercation with your co-worker. Next thing you know, you meeting the Lord. You going back upstairs. And this nigga on getting a life sentence. You see? But that was what on that?
That was the point. I could double check though.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit more, and then I can close it out with that.
But it says teeth of wild beasts and scorpions.
There we go.
Serpents and the sword punishing the wicked to destruction.
There you go. So these things is to punish the wicked. All right? And this is why, we fighting to stay in the right spirit, in the right mindset, and serving our power to the best of our ability. Because again, look what all these people are going through. Look at all these people are catching hell. We ain't perfect, all right? But it's the fact that the Lord has put the spirit within us to try and to do what's pleasing to us to the best of our ability, man. To keep us away far from what he's jacking people up with. You see? So seeing this, man, call about Shemal Shai that we have this truth, because you got it with Jake out here just straight up just taking people out. Individuals is people who are just having a bad day, driving their shit off the road and hitting somebody else, and losing their mind, running into the middle of the road, get hit by a car. These people are through out here, man, and it's only gonna get worse. So with that, hey, we're gonna close it out. You got anything else? All right, you got it. You close it out, bro.
Just to tie it all back together. All right, this is because vengeance created for spirits created for vengeance. Hebrews 10:30. This is the last precept we're gonna close out in the AMP. It says, "For we know him who said, 'Vengeance is mine; retribution and the deliverance of justice rest with me.'" So that's both sides, bro. It says, the deliverance and the judgment. It says, I will repay the wrongdoer, and again, the Lord will judge his people. It says, it is a fearful and terrifying thing to fall into the hands of the living power, incurring his judgment and wrath. So it's the fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. All right, so we're going to continue to praise those holy names and continue to do the best of our ability to strive unto truth and to death. All right, and with that, we're going to close out by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakadash. All right, once again, double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that teach and rule well. All right, and to the next time, Shalom.
Shalom.
Abat Babal, Kwam Yasharallah.
Kwam Yasharallah.